This is the Edexcel Foundation Tier, Paper 2, from November 2022. Question 1 says, write the following numbers in order of size. Start with the smallest number. So the smallest number is the biggest negative, which is going to be -7. Then we've got -2 and -1. Then we've got the 0. And the biggest number is the +7. Question 2, write 37% as a fraction. Whenever we have percent means out of 100. So it's 37 out of 100, which is 37 hundredths. Write down the 7th odd number. So the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and so on. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th one is 13. Change 53 centimeters into millimeters. Each 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So to change from centimeters to millimeters, we need to multiply by 10. 53 times 10 will be 530. Question 5. Here are 4 cards. There's a number on each card. Write down the smallest 4-digit even number that can be made using each card only once. So it's got to be even, and it's got to be the smallest possible number we can make. So let's have the 3 in the thousands. Then we'll have our next smallest one, which is the 4 in the hundreds. But we need it to be even, so we can't put 67. We can't put 6 then 7, that'd be odd. So we have to end in the 6. So it's going to be 76. 3,476. Here is a quadrilateral ABCD. Quadrilateral means 4-sided shape. Measure the length of AB. So we're going to get our ruler out and measure it. So we grab a ruler. We're going to put the line at 0 on A and measure along that line A to B, and we have 4.5 centimeters. So we'll put 4.5 centimeters, 4.5 centimeters. Measure the size of the angle marked X. So this time we need a protractor. So we grab a protractor. We're going to line up the center of the protractor. So this part here with the angle, where the angle is. And then we're just going to rotate it around. So the 0 is lined up with the line to A. So something around there. So we've got 0 degrees here, and then 10, 20, 30, all the way around to 110 degrees. So this is a 110 degree angle. So let's put 110 degrees. Question 7. Miles writes down the distance readings from his car at the start and end of a journey. Miles knows that the cost of petrol is 13p per mile. Work out the total cost of petrol used for this journey. So we need to know what the distance is. So the distance that he's gone on his journey is going to be the difference between these two readings. So 12,845 take away 12,468. That's going to be how far he's travelled. So we can just grab a calculator. 12,845 take away 12,468 is 377. So his journey was a 377-mile journey. and it's 13p per mile. So for each mile, it costs 13p. And I'm going to write that in pounds. So in pounds, 13p is £0 and 13 pence. So we want our answer times by 13p, and we get £49 and 1p. £49 and 1 penny. Sophia wants to hire a van. She uses this rule to work out the cost of hiring a van for a number of days. So the cost is £45 times a number of days. She's going to hire the van for 7 days. What is the cost? So it's going to be 45 times 7. And that is £315. The table shows information about the number of students who arrived late at school each day 1 week. Draw a bar chart for the information. So a bar chart, we're going to have a different bar for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then we're going to have a separate bar. So it's going to have to be a single bar. We're going to have number of students up the side. And we'll have the day at the bottom. And we're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's the highest we have. So we could just draw on a box for each day. So Monday has got to go up to 9. Tuesday goes up to 10. Wednesday is 8. Thursday 6. And Friday 3. And there's our bar chart. Question 10. Here is part of a bus timetable between Wigan and Bolton. How many minutes should the 7:20 bus take to go from Wigan to Lostock? So this is the 7:20 bus. That's the 7:20 bus. It leaves Wigan at 7:20, then it's at Blackrod at 7:49, Horwich at 8, Lostock at 8:09. So it gets there at 8:09. How many minutes is that? It is 40 minutes to 8 o'clock, and then 9 more minutes, 49 minutes. And if you want to use the calculator button, you can. So 8 hours and 9 minutes take away 7 hours, 20 minutes, gives us 49 minutes. Alison goes from Blackrod to Bolton by bus. Alison leaves the house at 8. She takes 7 minutes, so that'd be 8:07 to get to the bus stop in Blackrod. So she gets there at 8:07. That means she gets the 8:09 bus. And she's gone to Bolton. The 8:09 bus gets to Bolton at 8:58. And then she takes 15 minutes to walk from the bus stop to her work. So 15 minutes on to 8:58. 2 minutes till 9 o'clock. And then 13 more. So 9:13 at work. So will she get there for 9:20? Yes, she will. And again, we could have used the calculator button here. We could have said we're at Bolton at 8:58. So it's 8 hours and 58 minutes. and we wanted to add on 15 minutes to get to work, so no hours, 15 minutes, and we get 9:13. Question 11. 214 people go on a school trip. The people on the trip are either adults or children. There are 14 adults on the trip. That's easy. So 214 take away 14. That'd be 200 children. 35% of the children on the trip are wearing a hat. How many are not wearing a hat? So 35% of 200. What is 35% of 200? Whenever we have of, we can times. So it's 35% times 200, which you can type in the calculator. Or you could even write this as a decimal. 35% as a decimal is 0.35. So we could do 35% times 200 or 0.35 times 200. And that is 70. So 70 were wearing hats. How many are not wearing hats? The rest of them. So 200 take away 70 is 130. Question 12, work out 5/8 of 132. When we have of, we can change it to times. So 5/8 times 132 is 82.5. Write the following fractions in order of size. Start with the smallest fraction. The easiest way to do this is probably going to be to change them to decimals. So the calculator will do it for us. 3/8. Press equals and then S to D button. This one here, 0.375. 9/32 is 0.28125. 1/4 is 0.25. And 21 out of 64 is 0.328125. So now they're easy to order. So the smallest one is 1/4, then 9 out of 32, then 21 out of 64, and then 3/8. So use the fractions. 1/4, 9 out of 32, 21 out of 64, and then 3/8. We could have also made all the denominators the same. That would be another way to order them. Which would be, if you didn't have a calculator, that would definitely be the best way of doing it. A shop has 2 different special offers on milk. So 2 pints for 75p. Pay for 2 bottles and get 1 free. So if we pay for 2 bottles, 2 times 75p is £1.50. And then how many pints have we got? 2 pints, and we've got 3 bottles. So 2 times 3 is 6 pints. So that's 6 pints for £1.50. This one, pay for 1 bottle, get the other one half price. So we're going to have 2 bottles here, which would be 8 pints. How much does it cost? Pay for 1, get 1 half price. So it's 1.5 lots of this. A £1.28 and a half of a £1.28 £1.28 times 1.5. 1.5 £1.28 is £1.92. So it's £1.92 for 8 pints. So which is better? Do we want £1.50 for 6 pints or £1.92 for 8 pints? We need to make something the same to compare them. So let's make, should we do price per pint? We can do price per pint, divide £1.50 by 6 and £1.92 by 8. Or I could compare 2 pints, divide by 3, divide by 4. Or I could scale them up. I could say let's compare 24 pints or something like that. Let's do price per pint. So £1.50 for 6 pints, £1.50 divided by 6. That's going to be 25p. That's 25p per pint. £1.92 divided by 8. Divided by 8 is 24p. 24p per pint. So which is better value for money? Well, 24p per pint is better. So the 4 pints. Question 14, simplify. 4c plus 7d plus 3c minus d. So we can only add the things that are the same. So we can only add c's to c's and d's to d's. So for c's, we've got 4c and a positive 3c. So 4c plus 3c, that's 7c's. And for the d's, we've got 7d's and we've got a minus d, a negative d. So 7d's take away 1d, 7 take away 1 is 6d's. Part B, solve. Solve means find out what the missing letter is, what the missing number is that is represented by a letter. 5 times 2m minus 6 equals 40. We could expand the bracket first. 5 times 2m is 10m. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. I want to get rid of the negative 30 because I want m by itself. So I'm going to plus 30 to both sides. 40 plus 30 is 70. So 10m is equal to 70. So that means 10 times something equals 70. If I divide both sides by 10, I'll find m is 7. 10 times 7 is 70. M must be 7. There are X sweets in a box. There are Y sweets in a packet. Write an expression in terms of X and Y for the total number of sweets in 3 boxes and 2 packets. So each box is X. Each packet is Y. So if there were, say there were 10 sweets in a box, we had 3 boxes, we'd want 3 times 10, 30 sweets in total. If there were 20 in a box, we'd be doing 3 times 20. So what we're doing here is 3 times X. So the number of sweets in 3 boxes is 3x, and the number of sweets in Y packets, the number of sweets in 2 packets is 2y. So the total number of sweets, 3x plus 2y. Hetvi asked her friends how many stickers they have in their collection. Here are her results. Draw a stem and leaf diagram for this information. So stem and leaf diagram, we're splitting off the stems, which are going to be tens. How many tens we've got in the stems, and the leaves are going to be the ones. So we have 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the tens. And then we just list all the numbers. So we've got no zeros in the ones. Let's start with the ones. 71, 71, 91. No more ones, so twos. We've got 82. Can't see any more twos. Threes, 103. Fours, 84. 94. 74. Fives, 75. 85. Sixes, 86. Sevens, 87. And 77. And 97. We've got 88 and 98. And we've got 89. So we started with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there, that's our stem and leaf diagram. We need the key. So we'll put 7, line 1 is equal to 71, and that's stickers. Find the median number of stickers. So the median's the middle number. So I've forgotten how many there were. 17 were there? Anyway, we'll cross off one on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on one side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the other. Make that 8 on each side. So the middle one is this one. It's got 8 to the left. It's got 8 to the right. It must be the middle one. And it is. It's not 6. It's 86. 86 stickers is the middle number. Question 16. Water flows through each of the pipes that fill a lake at the same rate. It takes 4 of the pipes 12 hours to fill the lake. This is inverse proportion. So if we increased the number of pipes, the time that it takes is going to go down. If we had less pipes, it will take longer. If we do 4 times 12, which is 48, that tells us how many hours it would take one pipe. So it would take one pipe 48 hours to fill the lake. How long would it take 6 pipes to fill a quarter of the lake? So if we've only got to fill a quarter of the lake, it takes one pipe 48 hours to fill the whole lake. A quarter of the lake takes a quarter of the time. So a quarter of 48, 48 divided by 4 is 12. So it takes one pipe 12 hours, because 48 divided by 4 is 12, to fill a quarter of the lake. We've got 6 pipes though, so we can do it in a sixth of the time. So if we had 2 pipes, we'd half the time. If we had 3 pipes, we'll divide the time by 3. We've got 6 pipes doing the work. We need 12 hours of pipe flow, but we've got 6 pipes doing it. So it's 2 hours per pipe. So that's our answer. Question 17. The table shows information about the heights of 80 teenagers. Work out an estimate for the mean height of the teenagers. So we've got a table here. We don't know their exact heights. But what we want to do is add up all of the 80 heights and divide by 80. That's what we want to do. But we're going to have to guess their heights. So the best estimate is to use the midpoint. So if we say that these 8 teenagers are 155 centimeters tall, halfway between 150 and 160. We'll say these 14 are 165, these 24 are 175 centimeters, these 30 will be 185 centimeters, and these 4 will be 195 centimeters. So we've got 155 8 times, 165 14 times. So what we don't want to do, we don't want to write 155 plus 155 plus 155 8 times and then 165 and have 80 numbers in here. There's a much quicker way. So if we've got 8 lots of 155, that's 8 times 155. And we've got 14 times 165. 24 times 175. 30 times 185. 4 times 195. And then we just add up these. So 1,240 plus 2,310 plus 4,200 plus 5,550 plus 780. So they all add up to 14,080. And then we divide by how many? Remember, there were 80 teenagers. So we're dividing by 80. And we get an answer of 176. So the mean height is 176 centimeters. And that looks like it makes sense. 176 centimeters is certainly within the range of the heights. Question 18. The scatter graph shows information about the amount of rainfall in millimeters and the number of hours of sunshine for each of 10 English towns on the same day. One of the points is an outlier. Write down the coordinates. So the outlier is the one that doesn't fit the correlation, the line of best fit. So if I draw a line of best fit here, so we've got something like this will be the line of best fit, somewhere around here. Something like that. Which one doesn't fit that correlation? It's this one over here at 2, 1. Ignoring the outlier, describe the relationship between the amount of rainfall and the number of hours of sunshine. So as one goes up, the other one goes down. So as rainfall increases, sunshine decreases. And we can call that, we can also write negative correlation. So I'll write as rainfall increases, sunshine decreases. But we could just write negative correlation. As one goes up, the other one goes down. That's a negative correlation. If they both go up together, that's a positive correlation. On the same day in another English town, there were 7 hours of sunshine. Use the scatter graph to estimate the amount of rainfall on this day. So I've already drawn a line of best fit. So if there's 7 hours of sunshine, we would expect it to come in somewhere around there. That line wasn't completely straight. So 7 hours of sunshine. It's coming out just over 3. I could write 3.1, 3.2, but there'll be a range of acceptable answers. and anything from 3 to 4 would be acceptable for that one. The front elevation and the plan of a solid are shown on the grid. On the grid, draw the side elevation from the direction of the arrow. So we're looking from the side. We can see that from the side, or from the plan, it's going to be 3 along. 3 along. Then it's got a total height of 5. And we'll also be able to see these slopey bits. I'm just going to draw some extra lines in here. One at 1 tool and the other one at 3. And so that is the side elevation. That's what it would look like from the side. Question 20. Here are the first 5 terms in an arithmetic sequence. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term. So we can see it's going from 7 to 13, 13 to 19, 19 to 25. It's going up by 6 every time. The term-to-term rule, to get from one term to the next term, we add 6. So it's a bit like the 6 times table. The 6 times table we call 6n. That'd be 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. That's the 6 times table. That's 6n. Our sequence we've got here is always 1 more than the 6 times table. This sequence is 1 more than the 6 times table. 6 times table plus 1. 6n plus 1. The nth term of a different sequence is 8 minus 6n. Is negative 58 a term of this sequence? You must show how you get your answer. So to find the terms, the first term is when n is 1, which would be 8 take away 6, which would be 2. The second term is when n is 2, and so on. We don't really want to just keep going up until we get to negative 58. I'm going to write this as an equation. So if n is a term in the sequence, there will be a number for n, a whole number for n, that gives an answer of negative 58. So let's try and find out what that number is. So I'm going to take away 8 from both sides, and I'll leave negative 6n equals negative 58 minus 8. Negative 58 minus 8 is negative 66. Then to get n by itself, I want to divide by negative 6, and that gets me 11. So yes, 11, the 11th term will be negative 58. So the 11th term is negative 58 because 8 minus 6 times 11 is negative 58. Question 21. The diagram shows a plan of Jason's garden. ABCO and DEFO are rectangles, we can see. CDO is a right-angled triangle, and AFO is a sector, so a quarter of a circle. Jason is covering his garden with grass seed, 14 meters squared per bag of grass seed. We need to know the area. So we need to know the area, the total area of this garden. So for the rectangle, just base times height, 7 times 11 is 77 meters squared. 7 times 9 is 63 meters squared. And I'll just write down those calculations. When you're doing the exam, it's a good idea to write down any calculations you do, just in case you make a mistake in that calculation. If the method is there, then you can get the follow-through marks that might come afterwards. The right angle triangle, so it's 9 by 11. So the area is 9 times 11 over 2, which is 49.5. And we've got a quarter circle with a radius of 7. So the area of the whole circle is pi r squared, pi times the radius squared, pi times 7 squared. So 49 pi, I'll leave it as 49 pi. We've got a quarter of the circle, so we've got a quarter of the area. So divide it by 4, 49 over 4 pi. So we can add all these together for the total area. So 49 over 4 pi plus 63 plus 77 plus 49.5. And we've got a total area of 227.98. 227.98 meters squared. So that's the area. Each bag of grass seed covers 14 meters squared. So how many do we need to buy? Let's divide that by 14. We're going to need 16.28 bags, but we can't buy 16.28 bags. So we're going to have to buy 17 bags to cover the whole garden. Each bag costs £10.95. So 17 bags, £10.95 each. Is £186.15. Question 22. Work out the value of x. So we've got a right angle triangle and we've got an angle in the question. So we're not using Pythagoras. We don't know two of the sides. We can't use Pythagoras. We're using trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA. We can label the sides. So the longest side opposite the right angle is called the hypotenuse. Opposite the angle is called the opposite. And in between the angle and the right angle is called the adjacent. So we can use SO, CA, or TOA. We've got A and H in the question. We don't know O, and we're not trying to work it out. So we're going to be using A and H, which is CA. And CA means cos with the angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. If you use one of these triangles, that's absolutely fine. You can use that as well. So cos with the angle, that means cos 53 is equal to the adjacent, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 14.5. I want to get x by itself. At the moment, it's divided by 14.5. So I get it by itself by timesing by 14.5. So x is going to be equal to 14.5 times cos 53. 14.5 times cos 53 is 8.73 to 3 significant figures. Question 23. Ella invests £7,000 for 2 years in an account paying compound interest. In the first year, it's 3%. In the second year, 1.5%. Work out the value of Ella's investment at the end of 2 years. So if I want to add on 3%, I start with 100%. Add on 3%. That's going to be 103%. And as a decimal, that's 1.03. So the calculation to add on 3% is multiply by 1.03. That does it in one calculation. To add on 1.5%, again, the same thing. The calculation will be times by 1.015. So the quickest way of doing this will be 7,000 times 1.03 to add on 3%, then times by 1.015 to add on 1.5%, and that will be the end of the 2 years. So 7,000 times 1.03 times 1.015 gets us to £7,318.15. Question 24. Here's the graph of y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. Write down the y-intercept of the graph. So the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That's at 4. Write down the coordinates of the turning point. So the turning point is where it turns. So the bottom bit down here, that's at 3, -5. And use the graph to find estimates for the roots of x squared minus 6x plus 4 equals 0, where it's equal to 0, the roots, where it crosses the x-axis. So that seems to be at 0.8 and 5.2. Question 25. Find the value of the reciprocal of 0.8. So the reciprocal means it's flipped over. So 1 over 0.8. And 1 over 0.8 is 5/4. So we could also say 0.8, put it in the calculator, 0.8 is 4/5. And the reciprocal is that flipped over 5/4. The top becomes the bottom and the bottom becomes the top. And we've got 4,700. X is 4,700 to two significant figures. Complete the error interval. So 4,700. The one up is 4,800. The one down is 4,600. So we want the middle here and the middle here, 4,650 and 4,750. So to be 4,700 to two significant figures, it must be between 4,650 and 4,750. You see, it can equal 4,650, but it has to be less than 4,750. And question 26, the population of a town is increased by 9% between 2018 and 2019. The population in 2019 was 165,680 people. Calculate the population in 2018. So if we say the population in 2018 was 100%, and we increased by 9%, that means we've got 109%. So one way of doing it is to say 109% of the original population is 165,680. If we divide by 109, we can find 1%. So divide by 109 is 1,520. So 1% of the population is 1,520. So times that by 100. 100% is 152,000. We could also set this up like so that's the answer, but we could have also set this up like an algebra question. So if we have the original amount, x, and to add on 9%, just like the compound interest before, to add on 9%, we times by 1.09. So we had a number, we times it by 1.09, and then the answer was 165,680. And to get x by itself, we can divide by 1.09. And if we did that calculation, we would get the same answer.